Foods and Fun and Nutrition Adventure is a pretty sweet idea, and apart from some pacing that I think they could have quickened up, I think it works pretty well. Now, I say there were pacing issues. The whole thing is only about 12 or 13 minutes, but it does take about half of it to actually get to the message. If the child, the target audience, has lost interest by the halfway point, they're not going to get the message. But if they stick with it, which they might because it's quite cute and engaging, I think that it's actually pretty worthwhile. It's a very creative way of getting an educational message across about eating healthily and choosing the right foods, and also the benefits of doing that. This is a 1980 Disney short directed by Reinert, and it focuses on this little orange bird. And this little birdie wants to fly south for the winter with the rest of the birds, but they're actually about to leave him behind because he's so weak and isn't very strong. So he goes to visit the wise old owl, who teaches him about nutrition and the kind of food groups that he needs to be eating, and how much dairy he should be having and where he can get fruits and vegetables from, in order to build up his strength so that he can join the others and fly south for the winter. I think that that's very sweet. I think it's something that a lot of young children would find engaging. I certainly would have adored the animation of the birds growing up. I would have loved the little orange bird. Even now, I love the wise old owl. It's definitely a Disney owl. He looks a lot like the owl in Sword in the Stone. Is that what I'm thinking of? Yes, you'll know exactly the owl I mean. The animation design. I'm pretty sure that's what I'm thinking of. But anyway, it's definitely a Disney owl. And I really enjoyed this character, although it's a little bit morbid. I won't spoil anything else, but there is this scene where the little orange bird goes to visit the old owl, and when he does, the owl hasn't got his glasses on, so he puts a blood pressure cuff around a skeleton of a bird, an educational model skeleton of a bird, begins to pump up the blood pressure monitor, and the skeleton basically explodes everywhere. A little bit morbid, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very sweet. I just think it took a little bit too long to get to the information about the food and the nutrition, and then it kind of glossed over it. Not necessarily glossed over it, but I think once the message was delivered that you need to eat healthily, I think they could have spent a bit more time explaining that. Given that this is for educational purposes as part of their education series, rather than just entertainment with a good message, it's more a good message that just so happens to be entertaining. But I thought the animation style was very cute. I like the idea of it being about a bird for flying south for the winter for two reasons. One, because it's a very cute character a child might listen to, they might pay attention to. Parents can then use that bird as if to say, well, that little bird had to eat up his greens to fly. You need to eat up your food so you can run and play and whatever. But at the same time, it might also encourage children to be more active in looking after wildlife. I know a lot of children at school, certainly I did, make things like bird feeders and, helping make sure birds have got the right kind of nutrition that they need, because there are certain things that they need. So I think it works in both ways. Loved the owl. Found that bit quite funny. With the owl, that was my favourite part. Absolutely worth watching. And it just reminds you to eat healthily. So if you need Disney to give you a prompt to eat whole grains instead of white, I love white rice. Not really a fan of brown rice. I don't think the short will convert me. But other than that, it's a lot of fun. It's very sweet, and I cannot recommend it enough.